Hello, kiddies. Dr. Freedom here. We're time with some Doctor Who news. Whew. Yeah, it was a fun weekend. Yeah, next weekend on the Omega Files, we're going to be doing Downtime. We did Shakedown this weekend. We had a lot of fun with it. Um, but like I said, if you get a chance, go sit down and watch it. It's not that bad, especially for, an independently made feature that was done literally on a no-string budget. And for those of you who are curious, yeah, it was filmed on board the HMS Belfast, which is docked in the Thames. It's basically a floating museum now. And see, Downtime. That one's going to be a little weirder if I remember right. I think that features the Great Intelligence. I haven't watched it in a long time. I have to pop it in again this week, of course, before Showtime comes in. Now, someone made a remark about me ranting, and the thing is, what happens at the BBC directly affects what happens on Doctor Who. So I can't just sit there and not say anything about what's going on with the BBC because, that would be a thing. And so why don't you make a separate show about it? The thing is, a lot of folks out there, like I said, it's not everybody, but there's quite a few who don't realize this is unscripted. I don't sit down and write out a script before I go do the articles. I literally sit there here over the course of the day. I read through certain articles, take a look at certain things, and then later that night, I hit the record button and I let myself go. I don't pre-write anything. The only time I pre-write anything is when I'm doing an interview, and then I'll sit down, of course, do research about the person I'm interviewing. Then I'll write down the questions I'm going to ask. And sometimes even I have to do that on the fly because sometimes, it seems like with some celebrities, you can never have enough questions. It's just, there's so many things you want to ask them. There's things that pop into your head, and, of course, things never go as planned, and but I can't complain. All the interviews I've done up to date have been magnificent. I've had such a great time doing them. I really got to thank them for their time. But okay, let's get into the news because I know that's what you're here to see, and there's not a whole lot of it, but let's take a look at what we do have. Now, first up, over on Doctor Who Instagram, this was put up. Now, of course, the first thing that's being said is, "Oh my God, is that a weeping angel?" I think I've even had it come as far down as, "Oh my goodness, is that like, the 10th Doctor's hand?" And the thing is, we don't know. This could just be a mold that was taken of an actor's hand that they're using for an effect shot, or, they're making a prop for, or it has something to do with that particular actor's hand, something happening to it. So that's very well what could this be. And it would also explain why one of the fingers are broken. See there? See, it's broken? So this could just simply be a mold that was taken on one of the actors or actor. Well, this does look like a male hand, but can't be too sure. And it looks like it was a mold taken of a hand, and then something's going to happen with that hand later on in the series. That's all that is. Okay, let's jump on over here because I know this one's going to make everyone go, "Oh my goodness!" Okay, Steve Moffat, the Doctor is neither 100% male nor female, like all of us. All right, the Doctor showrunner believes gender is fluid on Gallifrey, but there's no guarantee that the Time Lord will regenerate into a woman. Now, the question of whether a woman will ever play, I almost said a Roman, oh my goodness, a woman will ever play a lead role in Doctor Who has been asked many times in recent years. Showrunner Steve Moffat said it's possible, then added that he doesn't see the Doctor's gender as fixed. He said, quote, "I'm not making it inevitable and I'm not preventing it. I'm just saying it's possible. The key thing about changing the Master to Missy is that the Doctor doesn't react to it at all. He just carries on talking. He is shocked that she's there. He doesn't say anything about the fact she's a woman, so clearly that's a very big statement. That's just a thing that happens. On my head, rationally, it seems to me, you know how human beings are, never completely male or female. You're mostly a woman and I'm mostly a man. That may be a male Time Lord to someone most of whose generations are male. Now, maybe he'll have a couple of female ones. The science fiction of that would make sense to me. Otherwise, I think life might be a little bit complicated on Gallifrey, or would it? I don't think they'd care. All right, now Moffat went on to say that very, very few people can play the Doctor, and it's about finding the right actor regardless of sex, because it's not the impossibility, an impossibility to have a lady Doctor. It's not a lock either. There's no guarantee. I wish sometimes that the politics of that would take a backseat and we just talk about the art, because it's not really about that. It's just about would it work. The day it will work is when somebody says that person would be amazing, and the most conservative, most traditional member of the audience says, "Oh God, yes, I would hate the idea of a lady Doctor, but that one would be great." I asked about what qualities an actor. He said, he's looking for, male or female, sheer carved out a solid star, someone you can't take your eyes off, not because they're beautiful. usually they're not quite beautiful, somebody whose face is so fascinating. Now, of course, last December, Moffat said that he cast Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor rather than a woman because it didn't feel right to me right now, and that lots of female fans had told him that they had felt the same way. Now, once again, you got to keep an open mind on these things, guys. Just briefly, you can't just sit down and pigeonhole one thing or the other. I think it would be brilliant, and I agree with him. If it was the right actress, they put in the role, hell yeah, I'd watch it. And I've heard too many people going, if he regenerates the Doctor into a woman, I'm turning off the TV show. Right. Those are the ones who are sitting there watching and just won't admit it. Okay, for some brief video clips, Dr. Star Peter Capaldi, Maisie Williams is frightening, and this was when he appeared on Larry King. There's a few of these floating around in here if you want to go watch them. Some pretty interesting stuff. He says some very, very complimentary things about Maisie Williams and her acting ability, but he does not give anything away as far as what she's whom she's going to play on the show. So if you're looking for spoilers, well, you're not going to get it. Okay, lastly for today, smoke incident at BBC's Roadblock Studios is declared over. Now, this happened back on the 31st, so, or on Friday. I was like, apparently they had to evacuate the Roadblock facility. Apparently smoke was sighted somewhere. The fire brigade showed up. There was no fire found. And a BBC spokesperson said, although production was disrupted, nobody was hurt. And it's like, it must have been an interesting filming day at Roadblock when suddenly someone pulls the fire alarm. But, well, these things happen. I just thought that was kind of weird that, come on, suddenly smoke's coming up everywhere. And it turns out some poor idiot probably mislit an effector at the wrong time. You never know. All right, so once again, this is going to be a short one. I apologize if my rants do tick people off, but once again, this is me. This is me sitting here talking to you. There's no script. There's no, other than the articles I'm showing you, that's the only thing that gets lined up before a presentation. I don't believe in scripting things, like I said, unless it's an interview, and that's because I want to know about that person. I have heard questions I want to ask, and I'll write those down in advance. But even then, I usually don't even follow the order of questions I have written down 9/10 of the time. I believe in being spontaneous. I think spontaneous reactions are the best. I think spontaneous opinions are the best. And if you go in already predetermined what you're going to say, half the time you're going to paint yourself into a corner you're never going to get out of. Especially when the corner, stuff you're painting the wall, the floor with is probably napalm, and you just dropped the match. But that's how it goes. And like I said, apologies to anyone, but I believe in. To sum it up perfectly, look up a small story that was written way back when, and I remember this back when I was in elementary school. It's called Mexicali Soup. Look it up, and I think you'll understand why I don't remove things from casts. But until then, maybe someday I'll sit down and explain what that means. All right, take it easy, guys. I'm getting on out of here. Have a good one. Night, night.